Well, a pleasant good afternoon to you, and welcome to another action-packed edition of Sumrall High School Baseball here on the Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel. As you may know, I'm Caleb Hamill, filling in for Kelly Sander today as he is off on assignment, and we're really happy to bring you this broadcast today. Today, our broadcast brings us on the road, but to a neutral site nonetheless, as you can probably tell from your screen. We're at Petal High School, just a short trip away from home for Sumrall, as they are playing in a classic series here this afternoon. One of two games being played at Petal High School, but a familiar foe for this 2020 season in the Taylorsville Tartars, as Coach Larry Knight and the Bobcats look to have a second victory over the Tartars in this season, coming off of a 1-0 win over Taylorsville back on the 22nd of this month. In between that game and this one, they had a very nice, convincing 8-1 win over the Jackson Academy Raiders. And Coach Knight and his staff are looking to hopefully have this set of wins catapult them into a little bit of a winning streak, as they started off the year on a bit of a losing trail, losing to Hattiesburg in extra innings 6-4, and then Seminary as part of the Oak Grove Classic losing 6-5. And as that same Oak Grove Classic that they played Taylorsville and won 1-0. So hopefully the Bobcats can get this season going in the positive direction, as they have a 2-2 overall record. Taylorsville coming in with an 0-4 record. And to start things off for Sumrall today, it'll be Sully Clark batting first and playing as the shortstop. He'll face the pitching of Taylorsville's Kai Buckley. The righty winds and deals his first offering. It's on the outside corner for strike one to Sully. Sumrall batting lineup looks like this. You start off with Sully Clark. He'll be followed by Ty Little, then Seth Mitchell. Batting cleanup, it's Hayden Norrid. Then another Hayden Barrett will bat fifth. That one's low in the dirt. After Hayden Barrett in the sixth spot, it's Javen Williams. And to round out the order, 7, 8, and 9 hitters, it's Cross Sibley, J.C. Stogner, and then Ryan Little rounding out the order. 1 ball and 1 strike on the batter, Sully Clark. Buckley deals. That one fouled off to the right side, out of play. Sully Clark coming into this game without a hit in the Tartars, or the game against the Tartars earlier this season, but he does have 3 hits so far this year for a .231 batting average. Another one flared out to the right side and out of play. Look out for that car that's trailing right there. Whoo! That one bounced in the parking lot as a vehicle was trying to exit the parking lot. Lucky for him, looks like no damage done. It took a hard hop, which makes me think it was hitting asphalt over there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sully Clark. And here comes the pitch. Another foul ball, and he stays alive. This may be a game where you have to be mindful of where you parked, because the parking right here at Petal High School is right on the backside of these bleachers. So the further away you park, probably the better off you may be. Clark staying alive, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch, ground ball, chopped over the pitcher, deep behind second. The shortstop grabs it and throws it, and it's in the dirt. It would not have been in time anyway. Bounces over towards the dugout, and it falls in there, so he'll get an extra base. Evans, the shortstop back there, tried to field it. The play would not have been in time, but instead, Moffitt was unable to field it in the dirt, and it rolls over into the Sumrall dugout, and that is an extra base. So he'll reach first base on a single, but get second on the error charge to the shortstop, Carson Evans. So the righty, Sully Clark, going to be followed in the lineup by Ty Little. So already a runner in scoring position, but shown, pitch taken outside for ball 1. Set the Taylorsville defense for you. We mentioned on the mound it's Kai Buckley getting the start today. The other side of the battery for him is Tyler Booth behind the plate. On the infield, left to right, it's James, Evans, Crosby, and Moffitt. And then across the outfield, left to right, Boykin, Jordan, and Beavers. 2 balls and no strikes on Ty Little. Ty Jr. coming in with only a single hit so far this season, but the junior's looking to make a little bit more noise as the season goes on. Bunt shown, but hard to the left side. Did he catch that ball? If so, they're going to double off the runner. There it is. A double play on a diving catch by Kai Buckley, and he throws it over there to Crosby to double off the runner Clark. So Ty Little retired on a popped-up bunt that Buckley was able to field. So 1-6 or 1-4, I should say, on the putout right there to retire Clark. And a pop out to the pitcher to retire Ty Little. Seth Mitchell at the plate now. Bases empty and 2 outs here on the top of the first inning. Sumrall batting as the visitor in today's ballgame. They were the home team earlier this year in the Oak Grove Classic. Foul ball back, and that evens the count. Well, on deck for Sumrall, if Mitchell's able to reach base, it'll be Hayden Norrid. Long look in from Kai Buckley, winds and deals. That went into the other batter's box for a ball. Two balls and a strike on Mitchell. The pitch. Outside off the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. Seth Mitchell getting the start today as the pitcher in this contest. Last week, he did not, or excuse me, last time they faced Taylorsville, he did not pitch in the game. Instead, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Cross Sibley that got the complete game and the win, giving up 6 hits in that one, but not allowing a run, and that's what enabled the Bobcats to get the victory, getting that run in the bottom of the 4th inning and carrying that lead through to the completion of the game. Marshall Phillips is getting the job as the courtesy runner for the pitcher, Seth Mitchell, as he walks right there. So the Bobcats have a runner aboard with 2 outs and Hayden Norrid at the plate. His first offering is right down Broadway. No balls and a strike. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Sumrall and Taylorsville here at Petal High School. Out of the stretch, Buckley comes home. Pitch evidently misses. Framed well there by the catcher Booth. Didn't look high to me, but possibly off the plate just a bit. Bobcats will take it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nord, the first baseman. There's a throw over to first. Phillips got back. Long look in by Buckley in the pitch. Breaking ball, that one stays high. Two balls and a strike, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Sully Clark reached base on a single and then got to second on the error that was thrown into the dugout, but was retired on a double play that Ty Little hit into. Throw over, runner just barely got back. Phillips has been toying with his lead over there at first base. He's drawn the attention of Kai Buckley to throw over there. Aiden Moffitt been doing a good job by covering his bag and nearly getting Phillips out on more than one occasion. And the thing about Phillips is every time he's gone back over to first base, he's done it standing up. Hasn't had to resort to diving back in, but a lot of times you'll see guys that are confident in their ability to stand up and get back to the bag and actually get thrown out. Are we going to see the 2-1 pitch? Yep, here it comes. That one just clips the outside corner. And that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hayden Norrid trying to help a 2-out rally for the Bobcats here in the first inning. Another throw over. That one gets away from the first baseman, but not enough, or Phillips can move over. So no damage done on that throw. Although that might give Phillips a little confidence to maybe take a larger lead with that poor throw and catch. Enjoying the sunshine here on a nice Thursday afternoon of baseball. Pitch misses outside. Now the count is run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Hayden Norrid. Well, Phillips will be running here on the pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. Although Moffitt is still playing a tight first base, as if there's going to be a throw over. Pitch comes home, swing and a miss, and he struck him out swinging. So Norrid goes down for the first strikeout of the game, and that's the final out of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, but only 1 man left on the bases. So we move to the bottom half of the first inning, and Taylorsville and Sumrall still have a scoreless game, and we'll get our first taste of Seth Mitchell's pitching for this game. Set the Sumrall defense for you. Obviously, we mentioned Seth Mitchell starting on the mound. He'll be pitching to his catcher, Ryan Little. Across the infield left to right, you got J.C. Stogner at third, Sully Clark at short, Ty Little at second base, and Hayden Norrid at first. Then in the outfield, you've got Hayden Barrett, Cross Sibley, and Javen Williams left to right. And we mentioned some of the fielders of Taylorsville's defense just a while ago, but here's what their lineup looks like for Coach Dusty Hillman and crew. Starting off, it'll be Kelby Jordan. He gets the start in center field. He's followed by Kai Buckley, the pitcher. Then it's Carson Evans in the 3 spot. In the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Kaysen James, Aiden Moffitt, Walker Gable. Gable being the designated hitter, batting in place of the left fielder M.J. Boykin. Then rounding out the order, 7, 8, 9 hitters, it's Tyler Booth, Dorico Crosby, and Cedric Beavers rounding out the order. Seth Mitchell on the year has started in 1 game, has only appeared in 1 game. Did not give up a run in that affair. Pitched 4 complete innings, gave up 3 hits. 1 run, which was unearned. 4 strikeouts and 2 walks to his credit this season. The righty deals his first offering, inside on the corner for strike 1. Kelby Jordan leading things off for the Tartars. Appreciate your viewership here on our Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel. Probably got a couple Taylorsville Tartar fans that are tuning in too. I have a friend in the broadcasting business, Billy Ray, who's been covering some of these Tartar baseball games this season. I think he's out covering a softball game for them right now, and that's why he's off and not here at the Classic today. So we're happy to have his listeners alongside for a view of today's game. Whether you are at home, relaxing, sitting on your mobile device, or if you're trying to finish out the final 15 minutes at work today, we promise we won't tattle on you, but we're happy that you have chosen to join us here for this afternoon of baseball. Pitch just barely misses low. Tried to get the low at the knees strike to strike out Kelby Jordan looking. Instead, it turns into the second ball of the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled over to the right side, out of play. Look out for the school bus, and it just clears it. Got a school bus parked out there on the asphalt, and it just barely hit over it. Jeremy, where'd you park today? All right, he parked way back behind us. He'll be good today. 2-2 pitch again. Ooh, just missed outside. That was a close one right there. The count's run full to Jordan. Leadoff batter of the bottom of the first inning, Kelby Jordan. Here's the 3-2 pitch and another foul ball, this time to the left side. He's staying alive at the plate. He's had 2 strikes for quite a while now. Good showing of Sumrall Bobcat fans. And it stands over to our right. Watching today's contest, came inside and he plunked him. Breaking ball popped him on the left shoulder, and Jordan's going to get a free base on a full count pitch. I'll tell you, he battled at the plate to keep getting pitches and keep staying alive at the plate. And a couple of those first few inside pitches that Seth Mitchell threw to Jordan were close to hitting him. One was a strike, another was a ball, and that time it finally came a little bit too far inside, and Jordan gets a free base. So the pitcher, Kai Buckley, will now step in. Mitchell comes home with a pitch. Again, he's inside. I wouldn't say Mitchell's struggling with control right here, but he is favoring that left side of the plate as we view the game. Man on first is Kelby Jordan. No outs here in the bottom of the first inning. The 1-0 pitch is on the outside corner. Count evened up now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Give you the dimensions for this Petal Panther baseball field. In the corners, it's 325. To the alleyway, it's 355. And then to straightaway center, it's 370 with a tall monster board back there with the American flag. Got a 2-man umpiring crew, as you see on your screen, man behind home plate, and then one that's just there to the right of second base. One count. Third baseman Stogner is playing up in front of third base. Possible bunting situation. It's such a low-scoring game earlier in the season, a 1-0 win for Sumrall. You can't help but expect maybe some small ball just to get any kind of run you can across home plate today. Throw over. Jordan gets back. Sumrall into this 2020 season with a lot of new faces coming in. A couple familiar guys, but hey, you think about last year, so many seniors on the play. Pitches a strike, throw down to second base, and it's not in time. Little tried to throw to tie Little, but he was just a little bit delayed. Strike was called, however. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 the count now, a runner in scoring position in Jordan as he gets a stolen base. No outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Mitchell comes set and delivers home the pitch. That's outside. Ryan Little tried to do his best job to frame it on the corner, but does not get the call. So the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kai Buckley trying to do his best job at the plate to either move over Kelby Jordan or score him with a base hit. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Pitch missed, and he checked it in time. The count's run full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, a couple of guys to start off this bottom of the first inning with full counts and a lot of foul balls to keep their pitch count alive. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Sky towards right field. Right field arranging over toward the line. He can't get it. It falls down. Javen Williams can't track it. Runner crossing third base, headed for the plate. Here comes the throw in, and it's not going to be in time. It's a double for Kai Buckley, an RBI double at that, and Kelby Jordan comes around to score. A good job of placement right there on the line as Javen Williams was playing straight up in right field and could not get over there to a spot in time. Tartars are going to get a courtesy runner down there at second base. It looked like it was maybe MJ Boykin. It's either 11 or 17. It's 17 is Zylan Hicks. Not quite sure, but MJ Boykin is playing in the field today, for what that's worth. Carson Evans at the plate. Throw down to third base, and that one's not in time. So they are going to verify that it's number 17. That's Zylan Hicks. Again, for what it's worth. So Taylorsville on the board 1-0. Again, last game that the Tartars and Bobcats had was a 1-0 victory in favor of Sumrall. But Taylorsville knocking on the door of a second run. No outs, runner at third base, check swing, another ball past Ryan Little, and that's going to score the run. And it's 3 balls and no strikes on Carson Evans, and already 2 runs have crossed in the inning. So bases are empty, no outs. In the bottom of the first inning, Taylorsville, it's 2-0 the count. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Check swing, he rolled it right to the pitcher. Seth Mitchell comes up with it and throws in time to Hayden Norrid for the out. And finally, the first out is registered for the inning. And if that goes as a wild pitch earlier, then both of those runs are earned. Well, that'll say goodbye to the 0 ERA that Seth Mitchell came into the game with, but it's a young season. Can't expect that kind of perfection to last forever. Kason James at the plate. Count now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. That one misses downstairs. So a hit by pitch to start off the inning. Jordan reached second base on a stolen base and then was batted in on a double by Kai Buckley. Hard hit ball, but foul outside of third. And that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Buckley reached second base on his double and then advanced 2 more bases on consecutive wild pitches. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Got him swinging. And there's the first strikeout of the game for Seth Mitchell. So both pitchers in this game recording a strikeout so far. Another batter up, though, for Taylorsville here in the bottom of the first. It's Aiden Moffitt. Base is empty. 2 outs. Taylorsville with a 2-0 lead. Here's the first offering to Aiden. Check swing. Pitch misses outside. Infield playing back a good bit. You can see the second baseman, Ty Little, playing back there really close to the grass. All that's going to change now as Aiden Moffitt takes a pitch on the arm, and he's going to reach first base for the second hit by pitch of the inning. Down to the 6th batter of the inning is Walker Gable, the designated hitter. Walker Gable, listed at 5'9", and doesn't have a weight beside his name, but looks like he's a good chunk of a heavy hitter. Can't talk today. Wind's blowing pretty good out towards right field today. Into an array of pines out there in center and right field, actually surrounding this field. Ground ball to third. Should be an easy play. Rocking in across. High throw, but Hayden Norrid comes down with it. J.C. Stogner assists on the 5-3 putout, and that is how the inning comes to a close. So Walker Gable retired for the third and final out of the first inning. But Taylorsville is able to scratch across 2 runs with the first 2 batters of the inning. 2 runs on just 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left on base. So we move to the top half of the second inning as Hayden Barrett, Javen Williams, and Cross Sibley are due up. The outfielders about to be out there. Well, a special thank you to a lot of our viewers that are out there. Christy Martin chiming in, telling us she's watching on YouTube today. All the way in Folsom, Louisiana, sporting her Bobcats. A special thanks to Christy and all you Bobcat faithfuls that are out there listening and watching wherever you may be. Also, special thanks to some of our sponsors for this Bobcat stream today. ComSouth, Diversified Forestry, State Farm Agent Stacy Clark, as well as Garner Dental. You all help make this Bobcat Athletics stream possible, and we're very thankful that you have chosen to support such a great athletic organization. 2-0 your score. Taylorsville on top of the Bobcats. Hayden Barrett going to lead things off. Once again, he'll be followed by Javen Williams and then Cross Sibley. Well, Sumrall so far this year have scored a total of 18 runs across 4 games. Now, obviously, a lot of those coming in the form of that Jackson Academy win just 2 days ago, an 8-1 win. Prior to that, they only scored a grand total of 10 runs. Check swing, a little slow roller over to third base. James comes up with it, tosses, and Moffitt's just able to snow cone it on the ground in time for the out. So a quick 5-3 put out to start off the second inning. 1 pitch, 1 out for the pitcher, Kai Buckley. That's K-Y, Kai Buckley. So that brings up Javen Williams. Trying to get the Bobcats on the board. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the second inning. His first pitch misses outside, ball 1. Javen, one of those guys we saw a decent bit of last year. If I'm not mistaken, he was a courtesy runner for a little bit, wasn't he? Check swing and another one right in front of the plate. And they're going to say it was a fair ball, and he's going to be thrown out at first base. He stopped just outside the batter's circle, thinking that maybe they called a foul ball, but no, the home plate umpire said fair ball, and he's retired. So 2 away here quickly in the top of the second, and Cross Sibley, the 7-hole hitter, going to try to do what he can do to give the Bobcats a base runner. There have been a lot of check swing balls put in play in this game so far. 2 outs, first offering, just off the plate for ball 1. Third baseman James is playing really shallow right there where the dirt meets the grass. Everybody else playing relatively deep. Pop up on the infield. Should be a play for the second baseman Crosby, and he's going to step on the outfield grass and make the catch. 1, 2, 3 go the Bobcats as Barrett, Williams, and Sibley go down. All on balls hit into play, but right 2 people to make those plays. We quickly move into the bottom of the second. Score still Taylorsville 2, Sumrall nothing. So Seth Mitchell not getting much rest at all there in the dugout as he'll come right back to work. Tell you that bottom of the first inning really took a long time, it felt like. As we're already 30 minutes into this contest and only an inning and a half of work. A lot of that happened in those first 2 batters of the game, or excuse me, of that bottom of the first inning. Kelby Jordan and Kai Buckley both getting to full count pitches and fouling off some. Get them more opportunities and eventually a hit by pitch and then a double, respectively, in those 2 at-bats. You have the Tartars base runners as well as a batted in run. Back to a conversation we were talking about earlier, a lot of Sumrall Bobcats that were seniors last year. I can think back to that starting lineup. The first 4 or 5 or 6 guys were all seniors. Guys like Billy Garrity. Who's now on staff as an assistant coach. Happy to keep him around the Bobcat team this year. That's his dad. My gosh, that's embarrassing. Well, happy to keep a Garrity around, right? Shows what I know. Happy to have Jeremy Thompson to my right, just keeping me in check over here. I was about to say, a talent such as Garrity, there's no way he's not in college doing ball right now. That's right, I remember that now. Him and Dustin Dickerson both, 2 guys that I've covered. Tyler Booth at the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. That one's down low. Three and 1 the count. Bottom third of the order due up for Taylorsville in this inning. Booth, Dorico Crosby, and then Cedric Beavers. And he's going to reach base on the walk. The 2 hit by pitches came in the first inning. That's the first walk issued by Seth Mitchell in the game, and already Coach Knight is going to go out there and have a word with him. Tyler Booth being the catcher, he's going to have a courtesy runner in Rico Crosby. So Crosby's going to be the runner at first base. Coach Knight having his discussion with starting pitcher Seth Mitchell. First meeting at the mound that we've had at the game, and Coach Knight's going to take his slow steps all the way back to the Sumrall dugout here on the first base side. Sumrall decked down in their blue tops today, gray trousers, blue hats as well. Taylorsville in a green top, but white pants. And green lids with a white front panel. Here's the first offering. Bunt shown. It's a good one down the third base side. They're going to try to throw it over to second base, and they're going to get the lead runner there. Steigner fields it to Sully Clark, who covered second base. And they retire that courtesy runner, Rico Crosby. And Dorico Crosby gets first base on the fielder's choice. Man, Rico Crosby and Dorico Crosby. I wonder if there's any relation there. "5-6" on that put out there at second base. Cedric Beavers now at the plate. No balls and 1 strike. Runner at first base. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Check swing. Did not go around. Pitch misses, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Beavers getting the start as the right fielder today. Throw over, runner back. Cedric Beavers, a sophomore for this Tartar squad. I haven't really looked at the arrangement of classifications throughout this Tartar lineup, but just scanning over their lineup, not a whole lot of seniors to be seen on this squad. Another strike in there. Beavers is in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, two, the pitch. Right in front of the plate. They're going to throw down to second base, and it's not in time. He's retired anyway, the batter, Cedric Beavers, because the runner was occupying first base. He swung and missed that ball, and it just scooted in front of the catcher, Ryan Little. So the second strikeout of the game for Seth Mitchell is recorded. Second out of the inning, but Dorico Crosby moves into second base on the pass ball. That'll bring us back to the top of the order. Kelby Jordan with a runner in scoring position. You'll recall he reached base on a hit by pitch back in the first inning and came around to score on the Buckley double. His first offering. Fly ball into right field. Williams going to have time to range over towards the line and make the catch for out number 3. So the Bobcats come away unscathed, even though a runner got into scoring position at second base on the fly out to right field. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left. We played through 2 innings. Taylorsville leading Sumrall 2-0. Bobcats going to have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up. J.C. Stogner and Ryan Little getting their first pitches. And then Sully Clark back at the top of the order, who had a single back in the first inning. Kai Buckley back out to the mound for Taylorsville. I was talking earlier about the diversity of classifications in this Taylorsville roster. Kai Buckley, one of 3 seniors that I have listed here. Excuse me, 4 seniors. Missed one right there with Walker Gable. But the 4 seniors of this class, Kai Buckley, Kaysen James, Zylan Hicks, and Walker Gable. So Hicks is not in the starting rotation, but Buckley, James, and Gable are all part of that starting lineup, and that kind of spread just a little bit. Buckley in the 2 spot, James batting cleanup, and then Gable batting as the 6th spot of the order, DH. Meanwhile, the Bobcats on their side of things have a little handful of seniors. I think just a little bit more than Taylorsville. They got Sully Clark, Seth Mitchell, Javen Williams, John Cody Stogner, and then Kobe Blackwell. So I guess that'd be 1 more, right? Stogner at the plate. His first delivery or first offering on the way, and it's a strike on the outer corner. JC standing in, tight in the batter's box. 0-1 count, breaking ball. He lifts that one, popping it up in the air. Shallow right field. Second baseman going to give way, and it's misplayed by the right fielder, by the right fielder Beavers. He just overran it. And they're going to register an error to him to give Stogner a spot on first base. I'll tell you, Crosby made a gesture as if he was going to go for that ball, realized it was going to be a lot deeper, and Beavers, being the right fielder, said that should be his ball. And now we're having this discussion over here with umpires, Coach Knight, and a couple others. And what's going on? What are they saying? That ball was dropped by the right fielder, or completely misplayed. Went over his head and fell to the ground behind him. J.C. Stogner is standing on first base, which is where he should be. I don't know what this argument's going to be about. Are they making an argument that he didn't catch the ball in right field? There's just confusion going on. I don't know what's happening. Stogner's not moving from first base as it stands right now. I'm lost as to what's happening right here, folks. I can't keep you up to date because I can't hear what's going on between the coaches and the umpiring crew. All I know is J.C. Stogner is still standing on first base, and from what we saw, a fly ball lifted into right field was misplayed by Cedric Beavers. Scores 2-0. Sumrall trailing the Taylorsville Tartars. Stogner reached base, it appears, on an error by the right fielder. There should be no outs in the inning. An error charged in right field, but they're going to say Stogner's got to sit in the dugout, and I have no idea why. This is crazy, folks. I don't understand what's going on. And maybe somebody can glean some information and tell us exactly what happened down there, because I don't understand how J.C. Stogner is being called out. But now they're showing 1 out on the board. Stogner's back in the dugout, and there's a strike to Ryan Little. I don't know if the umpiring crew felt sorry for the misplayed ball, but they ruled it an out. It's one of the poor things you face whenever you have just a two-man umpiring crew. It's a 50-50 chance, my word versus yours. And it's really hard to overrule people.
The outfield umpire was looking this way. The base umpire was looking this way.
Unbelievable. 2 balls and 1 strike. Popped up on the infield. Let's see if somebody catches this one. Shortstop's calling for it, and he reaches up and makes the catch, and that is a catch for an out. For the second out of the inning, it appears. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. Sumrall trailing Taylorsville 2-0. Shortstop Evans had no business throwing that ball over to first base in the first at bat of the game, but he did anyway, and it gave Clark a free base as it was thrown into the dugout. No balls and 1 strike. A little slider came inside a little too much to even the count 1-1. Count moves to 1-2. 2 outs here in the inning. One ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Base is empty. Outfield playing straight up. Middle infielders playing deep on the grass. Pitch misses outside, 2-2. Now, Jeremy, I know you just look back at the play. Did they ever throw it back to first as if maybe JC missed it? There's a ground ball snagged by the third baseman, throw across in time to Moffitt, and James retires Sudley Clark 5-3 on the put out, and the Bobcats go 3 up, 3 down. A bizarre first at bat of that 3rd inning. And I tell you, folks, you can rewind on your YouTube stream all you want. Maybe you can tell us something different that you may have seen, but from what we saw live and from what Coach Knight saw in his position and just about anybody else in this stadium, I saw a ball drop by the right fielder, went over his head and dropped right behind him. But evidently, somehow they called J.C. Stogner out. So we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Kai Buckley, Carson Evans, and Kason James due up for the Tartars as they hold a 2-0 lead over Sumrall right now. Only 1 hit apiece on both sides. The lone hit for Taylorsville belongs to Kai Buckley, who got that RBI double to start off the game. Seth Mitchell back on the hill for Sumrall to start off this bottom of the 3rd inning. And number 10 in green and gold is going to take his steps up to the plate for his second at bat of the game. Outfield looks like they're going to play straight up for this at bat. The first offering is an off-speed pitch outside. Kai Buckley came around to score later in that first inning on a couple wild pitches. Next one misses low. Made it over the plate that time, but just a hair under the knees. That pitch is over the plate again, but that time high. Well, he's just got to make some slight adjustments here and there, and he'll have a ball in the strike zone. A lot of times a pitch that's close right here on a 3-0 count, you'll get a strike call. Not right there, not the case, as he pitches inside and he walks Buckley on 4 straight pitches. Leadoff man aboard for now Carson Evans coming to the plate, retired on the 1-3 putout. Buckley, starting pitcher, going to get a courtesy runner out there. And that's going to be number 17, Zylan Hicks again. So Buckley, a senior, getting run for by a fellow senior, Zylan Hicks. First pitch to Carson Evans, a breaking ball that drops in there for a strike. And good to see that Mitchell is finding the zone again. Taylorsville, known as a pretty good football program around these parts in the Pine Belt. I believe they won the state championship this year, if I'm not mistaken. Throw over. Runner Hicks gets back. Ty Keys and company getting the job done. Quite possibly could have gotten a state championship last year if it weren't for him getting hurt. They're late in the season in the playoffs. 0-1 pitch, another breaking ball. This one popped up behind us in the grandstand. Little activity going on over there in the Sumrall bullpen. You may see it in your shot. Actually, no, it's a little too far out to the right field side for you. But we got a right-hander up and tossing over there. Just out of view to the right field side. Ground ball through the 6 hole for a base hit into left field. Hicks will stop at second base, and Evans gets the second hit for the Tartars in the game. So it moves Hicks over to scoring position. Evans stands at first base. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Kason James. 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the third inning. Taylorsville with a lead over Sumrall right now, 2-0. Seth Mitchell, starting pitcher, still on the mound for the Bobcats. But as we were mentioning, a guy warming up over there in the bullpen. First pitch popped up. Going to stay in play on the infield. The first baseman, Hayden Norred, camps out under it and squeezes it for out number 1. Well, that's just what the doctor ordered for Sumrall in this inning. Mitchell been struggling a little bit on the hill. And that breaking ball, James just got up under it, popped it up. It's one of those things you always hear a batting coach say. You want to get, what is it, behind the breaking ball and under the fastball? That time he got up under the breaking ball and popped it up. Aiden Moffitt, the batter at the plate. 0-1 pitch, another breaking ball. This time popped up, shallow center field. Cross Sibley taking a few steps in. Makes the catch, throws it in, and no runner's going to advance. Dave, you just joining us earlier. You may have heard a few screams right there from some of the fans out here in the stands. A little groaning going on a fly ball that was caught in center field. Just on the other side of this inning, in the top of the third. Bobcats hit a ball into right field that was overrun by the right fielder and somehow called a catch for an out. Runners at first and second. The batter at the plate is Walker Gable. One of those four seniors we were talking about just earlier. Hicks running at second, Carson Evans at first. Gable with a no ball, 1 strike count, and he watches a pitch miss outside and low for ball 1. Count evened up, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the inning. That little breaking ball has been the go-to pitch to get people out, but that time it's ripped into right field for a base hit. Runners are going. Around third coming is Hicks, and he's going to score without a throw as the cutoff man grabs the ball, and Evans reaches third base, and Taylorsville notches their 3rd run of the ball game. Walker Gable gets a single, the 2nd hit of this inning, and the runners are at the corners with 2 outs. That'll bring up now Tyler Booth with runners at the corners, 2 down. Seth Mitchell still in the ball game for Sumrall. Hayden Norrid's going to play close to that bag to try to pick off possibly Walker Gable. I don't believe he's quite a threat to steal. Fly ball, right field side, drifting out of play, and it will get out. That bounced off the top of the roof of the school bus. So no balls, 1 strike, Tyler Booth for Taylorsville at the plate. Gable's at first, Carson Evans at third. Line drive, shallow center field, and it's going to drop in front of Sibley for a base hit, and another run comes in to score. So Tyler Booth does his job for Taylorsville and bats in yet another run, scoring Carson Evans from third base. Gable moves up to second, and Taylorsville getting the 2-out rally going. Another courtesy runner coming in. This time it's Rico Crosby. He was running for Tyler Booth earlier in this game after Booth was walked in the 2nd. Third hit of the inning for Taylorsville. They're not taking freebies. They're swinging the bat. Mitchell comes set. Here's his first offering, and it's on the outside corner to Dorico Crosby. I'll tell you, that breaking ball has kind of been the main pitch for Mitchell here in this 3rd inning. A couple times it's gotten him pop-outs, but other times it's gotten him base hits. Soft grounder to short. They're going to toss it over to second. Clark completes the out to Ty Little to get that runner. And finally, the Bobcats are able to escape the inning, but not before Taylorsville can gather up a handful of runs. 2 runs on 3 hits. And no errors. 2 men left on. So we move to the top of the 4th inning. Taylorsville trying to get their first win of the season, leading the Bobcats 4-0. And Sumrall's really going to have to get the bats going here as they have 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up. Ty Little, Seth Mitchell, and Hayden Norrid due up. And Kai Buckley is back on the bump, tossing for Taylorsville. We're well past 5 o'clock, so a couple of y'all that are joining us here on the YouTube channel, thankful to have you. I'm Caleb Hamill filling in for Kelly Sander today. He is off doing bigger and better things than watching a little high school baseball. But then again, what better way to spend your Thursday afternoon than watching a little Sumrall Bobcat baseball? I'm enjoying myself. Jeremy Thompson is too. We're in a nice press box today. Nice facility here at Petal High School. In fact, very well kept. They've got a turf circle around home plate, as well as the first few feet behind home plate and the foul lines. And then a turf pitcher's mound as well, but the infield dirt is in fact dirt, and everything else across this field is natural grass. So one of those big-time things you always have to maintenance, and dusting off home plate, not an issue here at Petal. Also keeping that pitcher's mound in perfect shape and form, not an issue. They just have to maybe drag the infield and wet it a little bit before each game, and that's about all she wrote. First pitch misses outside. Ty Little starting things off here in the fourth. Bobcats only have one hit so far in this game, and that came in the first at-bat of the game from Sully Clark. Bobcats were sat down in order, 1, 2, 3 in the second inning. Ty Little popping out to the pitcher in his first time out. Tried to bunt forward Sully Clark from second to third, and instead the bunt hung up just a little bit. Kai Buckley was able to field his position well, dive and catch that ball, and then double off the runner at second base. 3-0 pitch misses high, and he's going to earn first base. So a 4-pitch walk gives Ty Little first base, and that'll bring up the pitcher Seth Mitchell. We'll see if the bottom of the third was the last bit of pitching that Seth had in him for this game. I know they had somebody up there in the bullpen tossing earlier. He has since come back to the dugout. Jeremy's telling me that it was Kobe Blackwell that was warming up down there. 5'10" senior right-handed pitcher. So he may be coming in, and Seth Mitchell may be taking over as the designated hitter later on. No balls and a strike. Popped it up. Going to stay in play over towards the Sumrall dugout. Who's going to get it? Nobody. The pitcher, Kai Buckley, was calling for it over there way out in the right field side of foul territory. But neither him, the first baseman, Moffitt, or Booth, the catcher, could decide whose ball it was. Buckley called everybody off, but then all of a sudden lost it. There's a good bit of shade right there in front of the Sumrall dugout, and possibly that ball drifting in and out of light may have messed up his eyes trying to track it. Now, depending on which umpire saw that, that could have been an out. If they have a conference, we may see a change right here. But it looks like the foul ball is going to stay. No balls and 2 strikes the pitch, and that one's high. Try to get him to chase the high fastball. I say fastball. More like a breaking ball to think about it. Seth Mitchell at the plate with a runner at first. Ty Little reaching on a 4-pitch walk. Check swing, throw down to first base. He did not go around. This count's now evened up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on first, nobody out. Top of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch, breaking ball. That one stays high. Booth tried to frame it down a little bit further in the zone, but not going to get the call here at Petal High School, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hayden Norrid due up behind Mitchell. The payoff pitch. Hard hit ball towards the shortstop. Gloves it down. Throws to the covering second baseman, but he cannot handle it. Tried to just sideways just kind of toss it blindly and is unable to be fielded by Crosby. So an error going to be charged to Carson Evans. And Mitchell's going to reach on a fielder's choice. So Hayden Norrid going to be at the plate with 2 runners on and nobody out. Phillips going to run for Seth Mitchell at first base. Did that earlier in the game as Mitchell was walked back in the first inning. Well, curveball had nice movement on it. Drops right in there for a strike. Norrid struck out swinging to end the first inning. And that's his only at-bat so far in this game. The only strikeout of the game for starting pitcher Kai Buckley of the Tartars. popped up, drifting out of play to the right field side, and well, just go over that truck that's sitting there in front of the school bus. Yeah, that's a bad place to park if you're a fan here at the game today. There's a lot of spaces between that white truck and the stands over here, so I think a lot of people thought better than parking right there. No balls and 2 strikes on Hayden Norrid. Phillips at first, Ty Little at second base. Bobcats trying to get their first run of the game. Chopper foul outside of third. So we'll do it again, no balls and 2 strikes. Norrid just trying to stay alive at the plate. A couple staying alive at bats worked out for Taylorsville early in the game. His first 2 at bats were full count at bats that had a lot of foul balls to get him there. Eventually resulted in hit by pitch and a double that scored a run. Let's see what the Bobcats can do right here. 0-2, and he strikes out swinging. So that's the first out of the top of the 4th inning. Now Hayden Barrett due up. He was retired on a ground ball to third base in his first at bat of the game. That was to start off the 2nd inning. But he now bats in an RBI type situation right here where a base hit could definitely score. Ty Little over there at second base, a good enough one, could score Phillips, who stands over there at first base. First pitch is a breaking ball that drops in there in the bottom part of the zone. Hayden Barrett batting .375 coming into today's contest. Notching up 3 hits so far in the season and 3 RBIs. Down in the turf, count even up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, at the moment, Bobcats can't score 4 runs on 1 swing of the bat, but they could definitely vie for 2 on a good enough base hit from Hayden Barrett right here. And that would notch the lead in half. There's a hard hit ball down the left field line, but foul. Wasn't quite straight enough down that line. It drifted a little too far foul. And tell you, if that one stays straight and stays down the line, that could be 3 bases. Left fielder Boykins now going to play his position a little bit further down that pull side line. Here's the 1-2 pitch again. Right down Broadway, a strike 3 called. Barrett got frozen right there. And he goes down looking, leaves it up to Javen Williams with 2 outs. Third strikeout of the game for starting pitcher Kai Buckley of Taylorsville. Ty Little reaching to start off this top of the 4th inning on a walk. Reached second on an error on the ball hit by Seth Mitchell over there to the shortstop side. That's why the Bobcats have runners at first and second. Back-to-back strikeouts have put the Bobcats in a tougher situation. 2 outs, 2 men on in a 4-0 ball game. Buckley comes set, looks back at the runner at second base, and now comes home. And a swing and a miss. Well, Buckley is a strike away from getting out of a small jam that he got himself into in this 4th inning. Of course, part of it not really his fault in that error that caused Seth Mitchell to reach. But nevertheless, 2 men on base and no outs has turned into an 0-2 pitch and a strikeout. 3 strikeouts to get out of a jam, and Kai Buckley is able to retire the Bobcats without a run crossing home. We move to the bottom half of the 4th. Taylorsville will have, I believe, Cedric Beavers, Kelby Jordan, and Kai Buckley due up. And so now as we mentioned earlier, the Bobcats are going to go to the bullpen, and now they're going to have Kobe Blackwell to pitch for them. A few pitching statistics for Blackwell this season. He's made one appearance this year. He's given up 4 earned runs. All 4 runs that he's given up were earned. 2 walks this season, no strikeouts. Although the category over here says he only has faced 4 batters. So 2 walks, 1 hit, and 1 hit by pitch. So nowhere to go but up for Kobe Blackwell. Makes him sound like Bad News Bears right there. But the senior's trying to get on the good side as he faces this Taylorsville lineup for the first time. Righty's got good speed, good velocity on his fastball, but just a matter of if he can fool these Taylorsville batters. No other defensive changes for the Bobcats as far as we're aware. From the way Coach Knight gave his lineup to us earlier, he listed Seth Mitchell as a pitcher / designated hitter. First pitch is a bouncing ball towards short. Sully Clark gets it, throws him, and barely gets the out at first base. I'll tell you what, Cedric Beavers almost thought he had an infield single. That was way closer than it should have been. So 1 out, and the top of the order now up. Kelby Jordan, he'll be followed by Kai Buckley. Part of that 1-2 punch that gave Taylorsville the first 2 runs of the game. Curveball misses inside. That one skied into left center field. Rack goes cross-sively, and he tracks it down. A good job by Cross to get back there. He was backpedaling. Wasn't sure how that ball was going to play, but he reached up and made the extension to get the out. And that is a gift to Sumrall to quickly get 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. And here's a slow ground ball down the third base line. Gloved, pulled across first base, and he did not get it in time. Tough play for J.C. Stogner on a slow roller down the third base line. Of course, you might think that it could roll foul, but it does not happen, and he can't throw him out in time. So an infield single for Kai Buckley, his second base hit of the day. And he'll have a courtesy runner in Zylan Hicks once again. So a 2-out base runner for Taylorsville brings up Carson Evans. He singled in his last time to the plate in that 3-hit inning third. He'll try to vie for a 2-hit day. Bobcats, meanwhile, trying to get the 3rd out. Pitch is low, throw down to second base is wide of the bag just a little bit. And Ty Little just good to get to the third base side of the second base bag and make sure that ball doesn't scoot around into center field. And they're going to intentionally pass Carson Evans and just go ahead and put him on to force that third base force out. So Buckley gets a stolen base. Evans reaches first on the intentional pass, and the first pitch is inside to Kaysen James. I almost call him Carson. Every time I look at his name, it's just one letter off from the man who bats in front of him, Carson Evans. This is Kaysen James. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Bobcats trying to set down Taylorsville without any run scoring. Another pitch misses. It's 2-0. James is 0 for 2 so far on the day. The pop out and a strikeout. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes right here. The pitch, curveball, just catches the inside corner for a strike. Kobe Blackwell's been trying to chip away at that corner, and he finally gets that inside pitch strike call. 2-1, fastball, ripped towards short, and Clark's going to take it himself to get the sure out at second base. So that will end the 4th inning as the Bobcats avoid more run scoring for Taylorsville. Started off with 2 consecutive outs, couple base runners, but nothing doing as Evans is retired there in the field on a 6 unassisted putout. So we move to the top of the 5th inning. Bobcats are having fewer and fewer opportunities to get on the board right here. And they'll start things off with the bottom third of the order. Cross Sibley, J.C. Stogner, and Ryan Little here in the 5th inning. And we have sure enough gotten some shade here at Petal High School now. We started off with a sun-bathed field, but now we have gotten a nice bit of shade, but some cooler temperatures that come with that here at this time of year. We started off this game around a temperature of maybe 57 degrees. I thought I saw that in my car whenever I pulled up earlier. Now it's more like a 49 degree. So we are getting cooler by the minute. Of course, as always, we appreciate your valued listenership here on our Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel. Your viewership, I should say. Used to Radio Land saying listenership. Sumrall not doing so hot on the scoreboard right now, but they're going to look to try to make things happen right here. There's a strategy right now. If you get Cross Sibley, J.C. Steiner, or Ryan Little to reach base and hopefully have less than 2 outs, you start back at the top of the order with Sully Clark, who was the lone hit in the ball game for Sumrall. In the 4th inning, he had a couple guys reach base on a base on balls and then a error/fielder's choice. But then 3 consecutive strikeouts sat down the Bobcats with nary a run. So here's Sibley. First offering to him is a breaking ball that misses low for ball 1. I was kind of waiting for the umpire to make a signal, but instead he was handing a baseball to the catcher, Booth. Here's the 1-0. Downstairs, skips away from the catcher, Booth. It's 2-0. Kai Buckley's still on the mound for Taylorsville. He's been getting the job done so far. He's got 4 strikeouts on the Bobcats today. 2 of them from Hayden Norrid, 1 from Hayden Barrett, and the other Javen Williams. 2-0 pitch, right down the heart of the plate for a strike. Two-one, lined into center field, and that's a base hit. Sibley gets the second Bobcat hit of the game, and he's aboard with a leadoff single. Well, the Bobcats are getting their batters up, and if they get around to the top of the order, it'll be the 3rd time they've seen Kai Buckley's pitching, which a lot of times is that magical time that you see hitting or see pitching. Try to visualize it and square it up. Here's J.C. Stogner. He squared up a ball back in the 3rd inning. Fly ball to right field that was misplayed, but somehow miraculously caught by a time traveler. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Stockner hit a fly ball to right field. It was misplayed out there by Beavers. He overran it, fell behind him, but somehow he was called out. Pitch misses high. It's an even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. So he would have been on first base with a, as a leadoff base runner, but instead they emptied the bases and said 1 out. 1-1 the count. Buckley's pitch upstairs, throw down to first base, and coming back in safely is Cross Sibley, standing up. Two balls and a strike. Broadcasting from Petal High School, Sumrall and Taylorsville. Second matchup these two have had against each other this season. 2-1 pitch, pop foul behind us and out of play. I'm trying to remember how far I parked back there. I think I parked a little bit more towards the softball complex side. I think I've been good so far. Very few balls have gone off to this left field side. Softball, well, that's a softer ball too. And I parked to where my front windshield was not facing the fields. I parked where the back windshield would face. And a swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout. That's the first out of the inning. Cross Sibley's at first base, but Ryan Little is at the plate. I tell you, when I came in, I heard the softball field's public address playing some music. It was pretty loud. They have a really nice speaker system over there, and you can hear some of it over here at the baseball field as well. Fly ball foul off to the right side. Ryan Little was retired on a pop out to the shortstop Evans in his first trip. That was back in the 3rd inning. No balls and a strike. The pitch, strike right down the plate, and they throw down to first. Sibley's back. And Little's in a hole, 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck is the top of the order in Sully Clark. Bobcats trying to get their first run of the game. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. It's dropped by the catcher, but runner occupies first base, doesn't matter. That's the 6th strikeout for Kai Buckley. Bobcats just having a rough go of it today at the plate. And really, it feels like Kai Buckley is just hitting a stride right now in the 4th and 5th innings. Got 3 strikeouts to finish off the 4th, and other than the single by Cross to start off the inning, he's retired 2 straight batters on strikeouts. Here's Clark, shows bunt, lays it down the third base side, but it rolls foul. Trying to bunt his way on with 2 outs. Maybe catch the third baseman, Kason James, off guard. You have to feel like that kind of play is ruled out now, as he's already tried it once. It's going to cause James to play even with the bag, if not more shallow than that. That left center gap looks really pretty right about now. 0-1 pitch. Hits it the other way, foul, and it gets out of play. Moffitt gave it chase over there from first base, but nothing doing. And once again, the Bobcats are in a hole with a batter, no balls and 2 strikes. Oh, 2 the count. Cross Sibley at first base. The pitch. Little ground ball towards the 6th hole, and that is going to get through to left field. Sibley's on his horse getting for third. It's bobbled by by the left fielder Boykin, but it's not going to give the Bobcats any more bases. Well, actually, it does give the batter Sully Clark an extra base. He gets a single, and then on throwing the ball in, he'll get to second. Well, time to be a hitter if you're a Bobcat. Got 2 runners in scoring position. You can cut the lead in half right here as Taylorsville leads at 4-0. Both Sibley and Clark are more than likely running on any kind of contact. Anything hit hard, and I'd be running. Ty Little has popped out to the pitcher on that double play ball and then walked back in the 4th inning. One ball and no strikes on Little. The set and the pitch, breaking ball, that one drops in there. Count now evened up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Top of the 5th inning, Sumrall with a leadoff single from Cross Sibley, a 2-out single from Sully Clark. He got to second base. Now 1-1 pitch, downstairs to Ty Little. Now what we said earlier, once you get to that 3rd round around the order, it's sometimes a pitcher's Achilles heel. Two-one pitch, fly ball, center field. Should be an easy play for Jordan. He camps out under it on the left field side and makes the grab, and the Bobcats leave 2 runners in scoring position and go to the bottom half of the 5th inning, trailing 4-0. Only have 6 outs on the batting side to try to get their runs across. Need at least 4 right now, and they'll try to hold it right there at 4. As back to the mound comes Kobe Blackwell for Sumrall. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on. But for Taylorsville, in the last outing they started off not Kaysen James. Who did they start pitching? They started off with Carson Evans and then finished off the game with Aiden Moffitt. I say that, I may have that backwards. I may have started off Aiden Moffitt and then finished with Carson. So the Bobcats are not familiar with Kai Buckley's pitching, but now on their 3rd trip to the batting order, they theoretically could be. So Taylorsville starting things off with Aiden Moffitt, the guy we just mentioned that pitched in game 1 between these two. First offering misses, 1 ball and no strikes. Blackwell deals, hard ground ball, foul outside of 3rd. He's got a quick delivery. Senior shows a good bit of promise there with his velocity. He's a quite different pitcher compared to Seth Mitchell's start of the game. Two-one offering. That one just misses low. 3 balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Aiden Moffitt at the plate for Taylorsville. And that pitch misses way downstairs. One hopped right there in front of the home plate and skipped away to the first base side. To the backstop. Aiden Moffitt reaches on a walk. Leadoff man aboard for Taylorsville, and Walker Gable stepping in. 1 for 2 today. Had an RBI single back in the 3rd inning. Grounded out to 3rd base in his first time up. That was back in the 1st inning. And the first pitch comes in and hits him. Well, second hit by pitch for Kobe Blackwell this season. First one he's given up today, but it's definitely not a great way to start this bottom of the fifth inning with a walk and then a one-pitch hit by pitch. And this is the bottom third of the order now due up. Tyler Booth stepping in. He's the 7-spot hitter. You'll definitely have to face the top of the order of Taylorsville again. No ifs, ands, or buts about that one. Shows bunt, takes a pitch for a strike on the outside corner. Booth's had a decent day at the plate. Reached first on a walk back in the second inning and then had a RBI single there in the third. He scored Carson Evans. No balls, one strike. Bunt shown. Blackwell comes off the mound, ready to throw out Aiden Moffitt over there at second base, but there's nobody covering. No balls and one strike. Runners at first and second. Shows bunt again and bunts it off home plate behind the backstop, or behind him to the backstop. So the bunt more than likely off. 2 strikes, unless the Tartars are feeling adventurous. Not very often you see the 2-strike bunt. Only if you really trust your abilities to keep that between the fair lines. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, grounded toward the 6 hole, underneath the glove of the third baseman, and the shortstop, Sully Clark's just going to eat it. Stargner couldn't quite get his glove to it, and Sully Clark is at least lucky to keep that ball on the infield and prevent Aiden Moffitt from crossing third and head towards home. It'll be an infield single for Tyler Booth, his second hit of the day and the first hit of the inning. And now the bases are loaded for Dorico Crosby. And speaking of Crosby, Tyler Booth, the catcher, is going to be courtesy run for by Rico Crosby. If you missed it earlier, they got Dorico Crosby at the plate right now. And what I can only assume is a relative, Rico Crosby, at first base. They're spelled the exact same, except DE is in front of the batter's name. Grounder to second, throw to second for one, throw back over to third base to try to get a runner off. They don't get him. Was a double play opportunity with quick enough hands, but instead they just get the out at second base and a run scores. Crosby reaches on a fielder's choice, and his relative, assumedly Rico, is retired at second base. Gable moves to third base. Moffitt touches home, and the lead is now 5-0 Taylorsville. 9th spot of the order, Cedric Beavers at the plate. Takes a pitch low for ball one. Pitch comes, runner goes, strike is called, and they're going to throw down to third base instead of trying to make the second base play and allow a run to score. So a stolen base for Dorico Crosby. Now the Tartars have 2 runners in scoring position and first base unoccupied. And you definitely want to pitch to Cedric Beavers right here because you know what's coming up on the other side of him, and that's the top of the order in Colby Jordan. Now Jordan is 0 for 2 today. Hit by pitch, but 2 flyouts. It's the guy behind him that's done some damage. Kai Buckley, they got a single and a double. He's 2 for 2. Meanwhile, Cedric Beavers, 0 for 2. And a 1-2 pitch just misses low. Well, Blackwell wants to get a strikeout right here. Get it out any way he can, and instead he comes inside. And did he hit him? No, the pitch just misses. I tell you what, Cedric Beavers looked like he really wanted to wear that one. If he leaned in any further, he was going to be in the strike zone. Full count right now. Only one out in the inning. Runners at second and third base. Infield playing in. All of them on the infield grass. Breaking ball, and that one does come in and hit him. Well, the bases are loaded once again. And that's the second hit by pitch of the inning for Kobe Blackwell. And Coach Knight's going to go out there and have a word with him. Rico Crosby is the only out of the inning on a fielder's choice hit into by Dorico Crosby. Walker Gable is at third base. Dorico Crosby at second. And Cedric Beavers, who's just hit by the pitch, stands at first. It looks like the Bobcats are going to make the pitching change. Blackwell coming out, shaking the hands of his fellow teammates, and we'll get the number for you here on the new Sumrall pitcher. Say 26, and that is Jose Morales. So starting off the game with Seth Mitchell, moved over to Kobe Blackwell, and now going to have Jose Morales pitching for Sumrall. Well, and here it's quite a perilous situation right here. Bases loaded, one out, in a time in the game where you really can't give up any more runs. Now, it's not quite that same kind of situation where you have a one-run lead and you're asked to come in for the final 3 outs of a game. But it's definitely a situation where you're being relied on right here to shut down Taylorsville and prevent any more runs from scoring. Stop the bleeding, if you will. Stat line on the game right now looks like this. Sumrall, no runs on 3 hits, no errors. Then Taylorsville, 5 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors. As far as the runners left on base, let's see what we got there. Taylorsville so far today has only left 6 runners on base. Meanwhile, Sumrall has left only 5. A little difference right here for Jose Morales. He's got a little bit more of an over-the-top delivery. Some guys like to see more velocity from that area. Some kind of go more with that 3/4 arm slide. If you're looking at the pitcher like he's a clock, his arm's coming over at about 11:30. 11 o'clock at best. Batter at the plate is the top of the order, Colby Jordan. 1 ball and no strikes. The nod from Morales in the pitch. Fouled into the air to the right side. Count evened up, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Taylorsville already scratching a run across to make their lead 5-0. A nod and the 1-1 pitch. That one's downstairs and blocked up, though, by Ryan Little. Two balls, 1 strike. Colby Jordan at the plate. Skies went high in the air. Will it stay in play? The catcher, Ryan Little, coming in towards the fence, and he catches it, but off the net. He bobbled it, and it went off the screen and into his glove. So it's nothing more than a foul ball. A couple loud mouths are chirping over here in the stands, asking for that to be an out. And I think somebody just told off the umpire to say if that was an out in right field earlier, that should be an out right there. One of those you owe us one moments. That'd be hilarious if it was the right fielder Beavers at the plate right now. Instead, he's the one at first base right now. So it's not quite a 1-for-1. Pitch misses downstairs. The count runs full. Nowhere to put Kelby Jordan. Got to get him out right here. Either on a ball hit in play or a strikeout. Morales nods. The payoff pitch. Hard hit ball through the 6-hole into left field. That's going to score a pair. Into field it is Hayden Barrett. He's going to throw it home, and that throw is going to get away to the backstop. The runners are going to be at third and second, and 2 runs come across for Taylorsville to give them a 7-run edge. Kelby Jordan delivers, gets 2 RBIs. His first hit of the day, as he was 0 for 2 coming into that at bat. And now Kai Buckley coming up. And he's been the hot hitter today. 2 for 2. 2 runs scored and an RBI to his credit. He bats with first base open, but 2 guys occupying the other bases. Takes a hard cut at a high fastball for strike 1. No balls and a strike. Morales deals. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Well, there's 3 runs in the inning are all registered to Kobe Blackwell, who came in relief for Seth Mitchell to start the 4th inning. 0-2 pitch, that one's low. Wasted a pitch that time, just trying to see if Buckley might chase. One out, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, right center field. Who's going to call for it? Sibley is making his way over there. He makes the grab. Runner's going to tag, and coming in to score is Cedric Beavers for the 8th run of the game for Taylorsville. Jordan moves into scoring position over there at third base. And the sacrifice is successful for Kai Buckley. Second out of the inning, and now Carson Evans will come to the plate. He's 1 for 2 today, I should say. Had an intentional pass back in the 4th inning, grounded out to the pitcher in the 1st, and then singled and scored in the 3rd. First offering misses for ball 1. Taylorsville with 7 hits and 8 runs. Man, they're looking to try to win this game running away with it. 1-0 is way high. Well, the inning started off pretty rough with a base on balls and then a hit by pitch. Bobcats just trying to stop some bleeding. That pitch gets behind the catcher, and the runner bluffs down the line, but will scoot back to third base. That's Kelby Jordan. Three balls and no strikes. Only runners at third base right now. 8-0 Taylorsville. Pitch misses outside, and he walks on 4 pitches. So now it's runners at the corners, and Taylorsville has reached the 9th batter of this inning. Kason James now due up. 0 for 3 today. Strikeout, pop out, and a fielder's choice. Bobcats have only had two strikeouts in this game pitching-wise, and both of those belong to Seth Mitchell, the starter. First offering to James, swing and a miss. Not to try to spin this in a negative light for Sumrall, but a good enough base hit right here, and this game will be over on a run rule. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Pitch, big cut and miss at a pitch that was outside. He would have had to grow his bat by a couple inches to reach that one. 2 outs, 2 runners on, and an 0-2 count on the third baseman, Kason James. Morales with the delivery, and now there's a runner caught between first and second. They're going to chase him back to first base. Now he's running to second. And the shortstop's going to tag him out before the run can cross home. They were just trying to play stall ball and try to see if Kelby Jordan could score, but he didn't do it in time. If you're keeping score at home, that was 1, 3, 4, 6 on that caught stealing right there. So Kason James is going to get another opportunity whenever we get to the bottom half of the 6th inning. But for the meantime, the Bobcats have a lot of work in front of them, as Kai Buckley has done his job as a pitcher and done it well. And it appears we're going to have a new pitcher in the game. It's going to be Kason James on the mound now for Taylorsville. Guy who just got done batting is now going to be on the hill. And Kai Buckley is going to take a spot in the field. He's going to play as the shortstop. And let's see where else we move some guys around. Carson Evans is going to move from short over to third base. So 3 guys have rotated in the order. Kai Buckley is now the shortstop. Carson Evans is the third baseman, and Kason James is now on the mound. So that's to start off the top of the 6th inning for the Bobcats. They're going to have a batting order that looks like this. It's going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. Seth Mitchell, Hayden Norrid, and Hayden Barrett. Just a little counterclockwise circle of rotation there between those left 3 infielders. Guy on the mound moved to short. Shortstop moved to third. Third baseman moved to the mound. Well, Bobcats have got a lot of work in front of them, and it's up to Seth Mitchell to get things started. Now batting as the designated hitter, whereas he started the game as pitcher. Got subbed in for by Kobe Blackwell there in the 4th inning. That would be the bottom half of the 4th inning, which doesn't mean a whole lot on the batting side. Just means that Mitchell doesn't get a courtesy runner anymore. Oh, 1 the pitch. Chopper, third base side, just foul outside of third. And Mitchell's in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Mitchell 0 for 1 today. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th inning. And reached in the 1st inning on a walk. Pitch misses outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. So he's reached base both times that he's been to the plate today. Just not from a base hit. It's been hard to come by for the Bobcats today. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, lifted high on the infield. Second baseman Crosby's calling for it, and he's got it for out number 1. So Hayden Norrid will come up to the plate. And actually, is this a new batter now? Yep, looks like it is. It's going to be 15, Weston Cooley. So the junior for the Bobcats, 6 foot, weighs $190. Norrid, who's struck out twice so far in this game, he's going to be subbed out for the meantime. And Weston Cooley is going to try to see if he can't get a little bit of hitting going for the Bobcats. With a 1 out, here's the first pitch. Outside, ball 1. Maybe coming in for a bit of a matchup right here, trying to get a left-on-right matchup going. Kick and the delivery of the 1-0 pitch. Tried to be framed up, but not fooling anybody is Booth. It's outside for ball 2. The pitch. There's a high fly ball into right field. Right field arranging backward, and he falls down, but did he make the grab? Yes, he did. That's the second fly ball out that he's got today on paper. I think that was actually a fly ball out, and that time you saw the first base umpire going out there to try to verify it this time. So the second out of the inning, that time Weston Cooley with a fly ball. Looks like now we're back to regular business. Hayden Barrett at the plate. Shows bunt, takes a pitch high, ball 1. Hayden Barrett also a strikeout victim here lately. Also grounded into a 5-3 ground out. 1-0 misses downstairs. 2-0. In the top of the 6th inning, Bobcats trailing 8-0 against the Taylorsville Tartars. Bobcats won this game earlier, about a week ago, winning it 1-0. On a base hit by Javen Williams to drive in Liam Munn, who was running on the bases. 3-0 pitch. Now one catches the inside corner for the get-me-over strike. Two outs here in the top of the 6th. Bobcats have just not had the hitting production they've needed today. Oh, and there's a strike called on the inside corner. Hayden Barrett tried to sell it by going down the line, but he's going to have to come back and face a full count. A kick in the 3-2 delivery. There's a fly ball. Foul territory left field side. Can anybody get to it? Third baseman reaching up with the glove. Did he make it? No, it's a foul ball. Fell to the ground, tried to catch it, but did not quite come up with it. And Evans was playing it short earlier, just could not get his glove on it. It's kind of in that Bermuda Triangle no man's land area right there. 3-2 pitch again. And that one's going to stay on the field again. This time the catcher's diving out for it, and he can't make it either. He laid out. But Booth just could not get his glove on it. You know, the foul ball prior to that almost reminds me to the College World Series game of Arkansas and Oregon State, just on the wrong side of the field this time. But I think this one right here at Petal High School is just a little bit tougher to field compared to that other one. Payoff pitch once again. Here we go. And he fights it off again. Well, he is battling right now. Trying to do what he can to get the Bobcats a base runner. And Radley here with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. 3-2 pitch. And that's downstairs, and that is ball 4. So he battles and he battles and he finally gets first base. And Jabin Williams is normally due up in this spot, but we're going to have another pinch hitter. And that's going to be Cade Dido. .61 sophomore. And Coach Knight's just emptying out the dugout with some possible hitters to see if they can't get some productivity out here against this Taylorsville Tartar pitching. So far, only 3 hits today. Those coming from Sully Clark, Cross Sibley, and who was the other one? I'm somehow missing it right now. Oh, Sully Clark had 2 of them. My mistake. So Clark and Sibley are the only 2 guys that have hits today for Sumrall. A big swing and a miss, and he's in a hole 0-2. Dido trying to get his first hit of the season in 8 at-bats. There's a throw over to first, runner back. And a tough count right here, no balls and 2 strikes to try to get that first hit across. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball upstairs, and running on the pitch was that guy down there. Well, it's not Hayden Barrett over there, is it? He's still running at first base. Either way, the Bobcats have a runner at second base right now. 1-2 pitch. Downstairs, it's ball 2. College action this weekend. Mississippi State taking a road trip down to Long Beach State for a 3-game series. Ole Miss, meanwhile, going to East Carolina for a bit of a tournament. Runner goes again. That pitch misses outside. Ball skips away. The runner bluffs down the line, but will not get all the way home. We got games against, I think, High Point University. I think I remember that right. On Friday night, East Carolina on Saturday, and then finishing off with Indiana on Sunday. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Southern Miss is on the road as well for a little bit of a classic of sorts. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for Cade Dido, and he still is looking for his first hit of the year. Strikeout number 7 for Taylorsville pitching tonight. But to finish off that thought, Southern Miss baseball this weekend. They are in a classic, coming off a loss, though, to Ole Miss earlier in the midweek. They'll play Valparaiso a couple times and then finish off with McNeese State for 2 games. So they play a little round-robin style set of games this weekend. They call it the Lake Area Classic down there in Lake Charles, Louisiana. You get Valpo on Friday night, or Friday afternoon, I should say, at 2 p.m. and face them again at 1 o'clock that next morning. Then immediately follow it with McNeese State, and then play McNeese State once again on Sunday at 1 p.m. That's kind of interesting to me that you're playing down in Lake Charles, Louisiana, that you wouldn't have a team like McNeese State playing both Saturday games. I wonder when McNeese is playing those 2 games. So they've got to play both Southern Miss and Valparaiso at some point that day, or on the same day. That got me curious. I'm going to look that up now. So they'll play Valparaiso on Friday. Play Southern Miss on Saturday. And then play 2 games Sunday. Interesting. They're playing their doubleheader on Sunday. I don't know, I guess maybe try to increase your ticket revenue for a Sunday ball game. Well, here we are back to baseball on the high school side. Kason James, who started his plate appearance in the last inning, but comes up with a fresh count now. And starts off with a foul ball for strike one. Tartars scraped across 4 runs there in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And now fouls off another one to the right side. Still got another game to play tonight, not for Sumrall that is, but Petal is going to play Columbia here later tonight as part of a 2-game little Thursday series. 0-2 pitch. And that pitch is high for ball 1. Got a lot of athletics going on today. Softball right next door. They're up and going and having a whole lot of fun. Meanwhile, over here, it's been a bit of a different story if you're a Bobcat fan. Off-speed pitch misses very high. Count goes to 2-2. Taylorsville got on the board quickly there in the first inning, scoring 2 runs. Matched those 2 runs in the 3rd inning, and then scored a 4 spot there in the 5th. There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout. And a good job for Jose Morales to get that strikeout. First time the Bobcats have struck out a Tartar since the 2nd inning. That was Cedric Beavers for the 2nd out of that inning. 1 out, and here's Aiden Moffitt. First pitch to him is a breaking ball that catches the inner half. No balls and a strike. Aiden Moffitt at the plate. He reached base and scored back in the 5th inning, but he's technically 0 for 1. That pitch nearly snared by the coach in the third base batter's box, or excuse me, coaching box. I want to say that's their head coach, Dusty Hillman, over there. Got a similar build to him. I can't quite make out his face from where I am. 0-2 pitch. That one's down and away. Now we got the national anthem going over there next door at softball. 1 ball and 2 strikes here, meanwhile, at the baseball field. And a long look in from Jose Morales, and he's going to step off the rubber. And likely finish the national anthem before the next pitch. He comes set. And the final note of the national anthem is played, and now here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it's a breaking ball that comes over the head of Aiden Moffitt. Count now evened up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here it comes. Popped up foul and out of play behind us. Bobcats have not had a 1-2-3 inning in this game on the defensive side. Jose Morales and the rest of his defense behind him would love to have that happen right here. Two-two pitch upstairs, and the count runs full. Tell you what, it is really cooled off here at Petal. Once the sun started setting over there, you could see the shadow creeping up the pine trees in the outfield. Here's a hard hit ball towards the outfield. Cross Sibley coming in. He's going to let it bounce a couple times in front of him. And it's a single with 1 out for Aiden Moffitt. Here's the DH, Walker Gable, coming up. He's got a single with an RBI and then a run scored in the 5th inning. 1 for 2 today, a single and a ground out. In the bottom half of the 6th inning, Taylorsville leading 8-0 over Sumrall. Jose Morales on the mound as the 3rd pitcher of the game for Sumrall. Here's a hard shot through the 6 hole and into left field for a base hit. Aiden Moffitt with a sharp turnaround second base. He'll stop there. And back-to-back singles for Taylorsville as the winning run on a run rule is standing at first base, and Coach Knight has seen enough of Jose Morales right now, and he's going to go to the bullpen. So Moffitt's going to be at second, Walker Gable's at first, 1 out in the inning, and a new pitcher going to come in, the 4th one of the night for Sumrall. And the good news for us keeping stats, they're not changing anything defensively this whole game. And let's see who the new pitcher's going to be. It's going to be 24, and that's Cohen Keller. Cohen Keller, a sophomore right-hander, 5'10", weighs 155. And this is going to be his first appearance this year. So the Bobcats in a less than ideal situation. They'll get to see the first pitching of 2020 for Cohen Keller. Taylorsville will have runners at first and second. They only have 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Once again, I want to thank those sponsors that we have for today's broadcast and all the broadcasts this season of Bobcat Baseball. I want to thank ComSouth, Diversified Forestry, State Farm agent Stacy Clark, as well as Garner Dental. Thank you to all of y'all for sponsoring our Sumrall Bobcat Baseball streams on the Sumrall Athletic YouTube channel. Well, the runners at first and second, Moffitt and Gable, are the responsibility of Jose Morales, who came in on the tail end of the 5th inning in relief of Kobe Blackwell. Just trying to put a bow on this game and call it a day before Sumrall, in their next games this year, got one against Northwest Rankin on March the 3rd. So they got a little break right now until their next game. Next one, that's going to be a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. That game at home against the Cougars of Northwest Rankin. And they get back into tournament action. They'll start things off against Oak Forest Academy out of the MAIS. First offering, down to the dirt, got behind the catcher, Ryan Little, and the runners are going to move up a spot into scoring position. Batter at the plate is Tyler Booth, a fellow catcher himself. So Moffitt and Gable are going to move up on the pass ball. Booth with a 1-0 count. Pitch just misses the outside corner. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Base hit will end the ball game. Here's the 2-0. That one looked good, and it's on the outside corner. Moffitt at third, Gable at second. Tyler Booth at the plate for Taylorsville. Sumrall in an 8-0 ball game. Here's the pitch. Thought about taking a cut at it, but instead takes the ball out of the zone for ball 3. Three and one. First base open. So you can walk him and not really face a lot of damage, and that's exactly what's going to happen as that pitch misses low. Booth typically gets a courtesy runner. If you see a number 16 in green and gold, that's Rico Crosby. He's going to run for him. But in a game in this situation, you may as well just keep it going. But nope, here comes Rico Crosby to the rescue. So Rico Crosby will once again courtesy run for Tyler Booth. Booth's been on base every time he's come to the plate today. As a 7-spot hitter, That's definitely not a recipe for success, and quite honestly, one of the reasons that Sumrall has given up 8 runs in this game. It's a telling statistic. First pitch to the 8-spot hitter, Dorico Crosby, is in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. The kick in the fire. Downstairs, ball 2, or ball 1, I should say. Count evened up, 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch, popped up, out of play to the right side. And dinks off a couple bleachers over here to the right side. Well, the Bobcats get a chance to bat in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away up the third base line. He's out because first base is occupied. Now another strikeout for the Bobcats. Eight to nothing your score. Sumrall trailing in this one. Bases are loaded for Taylorsville, and a hard ball into the other batter's box, but well played by Ryan Little. 1 ball and no strikes. Cedric Beavers, I should say, 9 spot of the order. 1-0 pitch, fouled off to the screen. Nine hits in the game for Taylorsville today. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he plunks him. That's going to bring in a run. So everybody moves up a base. Moffitt comes in to score. So Gable will be at third base. Booth at second, or excuse me, Rico Crosby running for Tyler Booth at second base. And Cedric Beavers at first. Now any kind of more runs scoring, and that's going to be the end of the ballgame. But a swing and a miss from Kelby Jordan may make a difference in that. Nine to nothing, Taylorsville on top. Pitch catches the outside corner, strike 2. Cohen Keller with the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball right back to him. He's going to flip it over to first base, and we're going to play another half inning. He flips it to Norred, and we are headed to the top of the 7th. Sumrall needing 9 runs to keep the game alive. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. And let's see what Sumrall can do. In the words of Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? There's a couple of adages like that. You think of Yogi Berra, it ain't over till it's over. Coach Knight is out there talking about his lineup just a little bit with the umpires. Doesn't look like he's going to make a batting change on the first guy. Cross Sibley is out there waiting to take his first few pitches here in the top of the 7th. Back out on the hill is once again Kason James. He came in relief for Kai Buckley in the last inning. Thought he was going to get a 1-inning affair, but instead his team couldn't scrape together 2 runs in that bottom of the 6th. So he'll come out for 3 more outs. Seven, 8, 9 hitters due up for Sumrall to start things off. They'll need to bat around a complete time and then some. to force this game to go to the bottom of the 7th. First pitch to Cross, breaking ball that stays high. Simply one of those guys that got a base hit today. Out of the 3 that Sumrall's gotten, 2 of them belong to Sully Clark, and 1 of them belongs to Sibley at the plate. And that breaking ball drops in there for a called strike. Sibley, one of those returning starters for Sumrall. Primarily a pitcher last year. Also plays a little center field and has been in this game. Grounder to short. Throw across. Did he keep the foot on the bag? Yes, he did. Buckley, who started the game as a pitcher, throws him out. 1 down. And now here comes that lineup change that Coach Knight was talking about there with the umpires before this inning started. And this change is going to be Liam Munn, who we mentioned scored the winning run in the last time these two met on the diamond. Sumrall, a 4A opponent against Taylorsville, Class 2A. 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning and a 9-0 ball game. Pinch hitter, Liam Munn. His first offering, right in there for a strike. Tell you a side note, I feel like the name Liam is one that we're going to see come up through baseball and just schools in general in the next couple years. That has been a popular baby name for the last several years. One of the most popular growing names in America right now. He's in a hole 0-2 right now. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat, foul territory, and it drops for an 0-2 foul ball. So we'll do it again. No balls and 2 strikes. Those of you out there that are troopers, we appreciate you sticking with us here on the stream. Maybe you just decided to peek in and you saw the score and you said, ooh. Well, the feeling's mutual. 0-2 pitch. And he struck him out swinging at a breaking ball. Really slowed up the speed right there and got Liam Munn way out in front of it before that ball just dropped way out of the zone. And now let's see who the next batter is going to be. Nobody's on the on-deck circle. And we're waiting. Let's see who it's going to be. I believe that's Jaron Gore. Is that who that is? Only have one guy in the 30s, and that's Jaron. He fouls off the first pitch. Who do we think it is, Jeremy? Boyd. He's on the roster at 21, but Jeremy seems to think he's number 37 today. Hits a flare out into right field, and that one's going to drop for a base hit. Oh, what's his name gets a base hit, and that's the 4th one today. Well, whoever number 37 is, congratulations to him. He's got a base hit, and he's aboard with 2 outs. Batting in place of Ryan Little right there. He gets a single. Now we're back to the top of the order with 2 outs, and Sully Clark, another base hit hitter today. He fouls one out of play to the right side. Once again, the Bobcats will be back home Tuesday night at 6 p.m. facing the Cougars of Northwest Rankin out of Class 6A. Continue the pre-region play Ball in the dirt, blocked up by Booth, the catcher. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner at first base is number 37 on your roster, number 1 in your heart right now. Pitch on the inside corner, strike called, and the Tartars are a strike away from ending this game. Sully Clark in the hole, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Taylorsville looking to notch a 9-0 victory over a 4A opponent. One-two pitch. Downstairs through the legs of Tyler Booth. And 37 is going to take off and take second base. Well, if Sully Clark can get a base hit right here, Sumrall won't be shut out today. If he's unable to reach, then the game will end at 9-0. Deuces wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. The kick and the delivery. Liner towards right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Rolls into the glove of the right fielder Beavers, but staying put at third base is number 37. There's runners at the corners for Ty Little. And a quick word from the head coach, Dusty Hillman, to Kason James, who's on the mound for Taylorsville. It brings up a new batter, and that's Jackson Williamson. So Jackson Williamson, a 6-foot junior, going to stand in now. And he takes a pitch low for ball 1. You know, I said Sully Clark that whole time, but I never looked over to see if the number matched. Was that Sully that batted just then? Okay. 1-0 pitch is downstairs to Williamson. Coach Knight's been throwing everything but the kitchen sink in the batting order in the final 2 innings. Sometimes you can't keep up with all those different changes. There's a strike call. 2 balls and a strike. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Sumrall trailing by 9 runs here in the top of the 7th. Breaking ball, fouled off to the left side, and they're a strike away once again. The deuce is wild once again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. James from the stretch. Here's the pitch. And he struck him out swinging to end the ball game. Well, Sumrall gets blanked 9-0 tonight. Taylorsville avenges a 1-0 loss earlier here in the season. And the 2A Tartars knock off the Bobcats here at Petal High School tonight, winning it 9-0. Once again, don't forget, next broadcast of baseball activities is going to be the next game at home, Sumrall and Northwest Rankin. Kelly Sanders should be back for that one, and he'll appreciate your viewership. But for now, we'll say so long from the Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel. Final score once again, Taylorsville 9, Sumrall 0. You've been watching Sumrall Baseball on YouTube.